What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to create a news website. As you can already see in the screen, so this is a news website that we have created, and I'm not focusing too much on the CSS at this moment. Maybe you can do some designs, you can put some background, and of course you can put some paginations at the end of this page as well. But I won't be focusing too much on that. What I will be focusing on is we will be registering from NewsAPI. Well, basically this is the website, newsapi.org, and in this website you just need to get an API key. If you click on this, that means that will take you to the sign up page and they will give you a key. So once you get the key, well, you can search for almost anything. Apparently I'm showing something at this point. If you can see this clearly, I made it a little bit bigger. So maybe, well, this is the URL, and here you need to paste the API key that you have obtained from this website. So once you do that, you can search for anything. Like here I search for Manchester United. Maybe if I search for football, it will give me a different result. So basically that's the thing. And as I've already shown, that this will be the outcome of what we are going to create today. So this will be a React application, and I hope you like it. So let's just get started. So before we start, I just want to ask you that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do it and hit the thumbs up so that I can create more and more videos like this. And these videos, after you subscribe and you hit the thumbs up, these videos will also be suggested to other people like you. So let's just get started with the video. Let's just get to coding. Well, as you can see that I have git bash open. I'm going to create a React application, and maybe just select the directory of your choice where you want to create the application. So what you do is npx create React app. I will say news app, and hit enter. So this will take some time. We'll be back shortly after this process is executed. Alright, so as you can see that it says happy hacking, that means our React application has been created. So what we need to do is we need to cd into that folder. I think it's called news app, as we have created. And as you can see, it's already here. So what we do is we will going to open VS Code, start coding on this. Okay, so VS Code is already open. I will be closing this thing up because I won't be using this. And all right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove some of the unnecessary things. But before that, I'm going to run the application as well. Okay, so I will run it with npm start. So this will run the React application. And I'm going to keep both things side by side like this. Okay. So there you go, the React application has started. And as I'm going to use this space as well, I think I'm going to take my video off. Okay, that looks better. So now this will be easier for you to see. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I will be deleting some of the unnecessary files. Like I'll delete this, then this logo and test. So now you see that there are some errors that we have to deal with. So first let's go to index. I'm going to take this line off, and I am going to take off the last few lines from the index file and save it. Okay, and the next thing is in the app.js, I'm going to take this logo away, and I will be removing everything in this div class name app inside it from header, and save. Okay, I don't know how this thing is coming, but this is not supposed to happen. Anyways, what I will try to do is let's just print hello world and see if that works. Hello world. Save. Okay, I don't know why sometimes this happens, but what I can do is I will just stop this and start npm start again. So another one will be opening here. There you go. And I'll close the previous one. See, it says hello world. It can sometimes happen, so you don't need to worry about it. What you can do is you just restart the server anyways. It'll work out because you don't have any problem with your code. Anyways, so let's get moving. At first, I want to create some components. So one of the components will be news item and the other one will be news list. So I will be creating a folder which is called components. And inside the components folder, one will be news list.js, and I will have another one which is called news item.js. Okay. And in case of the news item, I also want news item.css. I will be making some changes over here as well. So let's just get started with news list. So as we're going to work with APIs, I need something to fetch the data from that API. So for that reason, I'm going to use Axios. So what I will do is I will just open up another terminal and I will write npm I Axios. This will keep installing Axios. And in the meantime, let's just get back to coding. So I am in the newslist.js file. And these are this is what I'm going to do right now. So let's just create a template. There you go. And inside this, I will be using useState and useEffect as well. So I'm just going to import both of them. Okay. So both the things are imported. Now what I'm going to do at first is I'm going to have articles, set articles, and this will be useState of an empty array. Okay, this is what we have. All right. Then the next thing is we will have the useEffect, and inside this we are going to fetch the data. We will be using Axios here, so let's just wait a little bit for this to finish, and then we'll come back to use Axios. Well, there you go. As you can see that Axios is installed. So I will be taking this mesh off, and I will be importing Axios. So import Axios from Axios. Okay. So now, if we go back to this, I think I am going to copy this thing and I will be using that. So what I'm going to write is const response equals axios.get, and inside that I'm going to place this. And okay, let's just skip Manchester United. Let's look for something like football. We will try to look for football. And I am going to place my API key. I don't think I will be able to show this to you, so this will be hidden. Well, I want this to be, as you already know, that the Axios thing of while fetching data, it should be within an async await segment. So I will be having that as well. So in that case, let's create const get articles. And this will be an arrow function. Inside that, we're going to place this. Okay. So now as we have this, what we want to do is we will want this function to be async. And with that being async, we want await here. So let's test this thing out. What we want to do is we want to check if we get any sort of data or not. So we will be console logging the response, and then let's see what we get. And of course, remember that we are using useEffect and we want the data to be loaded once, not more than once. So to stop that from happening, we will be having an empty dependency array at this moment. here with the use effect. As you can see, the bracket of the use effect. So for this, we're going to have a dependency array, an empty dependency array. So okay, so let's save this. All right, and let's get back to app.js, and here I'm going to take this thing off, and I will be importing news list from, this will come from the component. So I will go to the components slash the news list. Okay, and here I am going to show the news list that we have right now. Save it. Okay, what I need to do as well is inside this, I need to call this get articles and save. Okay, so let's try closing this and opening this again like we always do. Well, this is very annoying in a sense, but sometimes you need to face these things. Let's see what happens now. See, now we're not getting any sort of errors. There was absolutely no problem. Basically, what I think is, like, I have installed Axios, so sometimes you may face this, but this does not happen necessarily. So as you can see that in our code we have response printed, or it's displayed from the console. So what we will do is in the browser we'll go inspect and we'll go to console. So as you can see that there is object. If you click on this object, you can see data, and it says status okay, total results 49,210 results. So I'll just make this a little bit bigger for you guys to see. So if you can see it now, if I click on this, you can see that there are articles and 20 has been loaded. If you go inside, see, these are the things. So as you can see that this is a title, then we have a description, we have a URL, and we have a URL to the image. So we will be using these things. The title, we will be using the description, we need the URL and the URL to image. So basically these are the things that we are going to use. So I will close the console for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the articles to response dot data dot articles. Okay, so again, why I am using response dot data dot articles, if you see this again, if we go back to the console, you can see for the object, if you go inside, we have data. So that's why response is the object, then dot data will be accessing this data, and if we go inside data, we need to access the articles. So that's why dot data and then dot articles. These articles will be accessing these articles, and then we are going to get all of the data that we need. So that's the thing. Let's just close this thing and let's move on. All right. So now, as you know, as you can see that we have everything fetched as we wanted. So let's just design the news item. So we want a template as well. There you go. That's what we wanted. And here, let's import the CSS file. News item.css. Okay, that's what we need here. And now we are going to design the news item here. So as I said that we need the title, the description, the URL, and the URL to image. So these are the things that we're going to pass as props, because here we are going to design the news item, and when we go back to the news list, we are going to call this news item here, and we're going to pass all those things, the four details that we wanted, that those are the description, the title, the URL, and the URL to image. Those are the things that we are going to pass as props, and we will be fetching those data and accessing them, and we will be displaying them from here. So in that case, let's go back to news item.js, and here what I'm going to do is inside this function, I will write title, then description, URL to image. Okay. All right. So first, let's have a class name for this div, which is called NewsApp. And inside this, we will have another div with a class name NewsItem. Okay. So inside this NewsItem, we will be having three things. First thing is an image. Then we will have a header. So we will have an h3 tag, and we will have a paragraph. And inside this h3, we will be having a link. So in case of the image, we will have class name will be NewsImg. Then the source will be URL to image, and the alt text will be, let's just keep it similar to the source, URL to image. So that's what we have for the image. Now in case of the header in the href, we will have just a URL, and within this we will be having the title. Okay, so that's what we have. And in case of the paragraph, we will just have description. Okay, so these are the four things that we need, and we are going to pass as props. So we are designing it in this way that at first we will have the URL to image. That means the image will be displayed here. Then we will have the href URL here, and with that we will have the title, and then the description will be displayed. All right, so I'm going to save this, and let's go to the news list. So here I'm going to call all of these. So in this return tag, what we want is, as you can see, that in case of useState, as you already know, that this is a variable that we want, and set article, set articles. This is the thing that will be updating the values every time you fetch a data or fetch anything from the API. So this will update the value of this, and then we can access anything, like every content that this variable contains. So this is the thing about useState. So in that case, what we want is we will be accessing articles, and as we know that this is a list, so we need to map through this. And in this case, we will have article and another arrow function. So inside this, we want to return, and we want news item. So for that, we need to import news item here. So let's import that news item from news item. All right, that's what we want. So inside this, let's have news item, and let's go on to close like this. We're going to pass the props like title will be article.title, the description will be article.description, the URL will be article.url, and the URL to image will be article to url.image. So that's what we are supposed to have for the moment. So if we go to the app.js, as you can see that this news list will be called. So these things will be displayed, and according to this, the news item will be called inside the news list, and the news item is the thing that we have designed by passing these props. So these props are the values that we have set in these cases. So in this case, that we're accessing each item from this articles list, and the title of that item, the description of that item, the URL of that item, and the image of that item for all of the items are going to be passed as props, and this will be displayed as a news item. So if I save this now, you can see that there is not much of a CSS, but you can see that there are images. First of all, as we as we wanted. If we go back to the news item, you see that this is the image. We want the image to come first, so this has come. Then there is the title along with our injected with the URL, the ahref tag. So this is the thing, and this is the description, the third one. So the description has come like this, and then the next item, the image, the title and URL, the description. So likewise, that's what we have retrieved or fetched and displayed. So now let's just make these things a little bit smaller. So we're going to work a little bit on the CSS. So let's go to the news item.css. So in that case, at first we want the news app, and here we just want the display to be flex, and we want the content to be justified as center to the center. Okay, that's what we want. Then we want the news item, and here we want the width to be 500 pixels. We want padding to be just 20 pixels. Then we want the border to be 1 pixel, and solid, we don't want this, and the margin bottom, this will be 20. Okay, and finally we want the news image. In that case, we want the width to be 400 pixels. So if we save it, there you go. I think this looks far better than what we had at the beginning. So these are bordered. Each of the news have been bordered, and they have a little bit padding in between. So as you can see that within each of the item, I mean the items are separated within borders. So each of these items contain the image, then the title, and then the description. So if we go down, you can see more news like this. Now the thing is, if we go back to the news list where we have fetched the data from the article, what we can do is, if we look for something else other than football, let's look for cricket and save. There you go. You can see the data has changed, and we have fetched some data about cricket as well. So whatever you want to do is, if you see this link and you see that after everything question mark there is Q, this Q means query, and you want to search for anything here, as I've searched for cricket, anything will be displayed here. But the thing is, sometimes you might have something to search about which has, I mean, spaces in between. That means maybe 2 words or 3 words. So when you search for words or phrases with spaces in between, that means if I search for how about, let's look for a football club. Again, let's look for Manchester United, because if you know that Manchester and United, these are 2 separated words. So for that space in between, what we can do is we can search for like Manchester, then %20, this refers to space, and let's type United. If we save, you can see that there you go. We have different data, and that's what we wanted to display. So that's the thing. Basically, if you have anything, okay, I think I misspelled Manchester. Now it's all right. So if I search, there you go. So this is the thing that we wanted actually, not the previous one. So basically the thing is, if you have just one single word to search for, you can just search for it casually. After this Q equals, you can just type the word here. And if you have anything, like if you have more than one word to search for at a time, or if your search term contain more than one words, so for those spaces you can replace the spaces with %20. I think you already know this, but for those who doesn't know, this is for you guys. So basically that's what I wanted to show, and that's it for the video. Like what we did today is we have created a small website, a news website from an API which is called newsapi.org, and from that we have created, or we have got access. I mean, we have got our API key with which we are able to search these things that we want. That's it for the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. So if you did, please leave a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, and hit the bell icon as well. I'll leave today, and I hope to see you in some other video like this. So till then, goodbye.